All right, YouTube, we're on day 2 of our Mustang combination, the 67 floor pan into the 65 model. I'm going to kind of quickly walk you through what I'm doing today. My plan is to go ahead and get the entire pan cut out of the 67, and then I can start making more measurements. I'm going to cut this pan out a little bit larger than what's actually needed for the 65, and then I'll trim it down, clean it up, get it ready to put in the car. I'll also have to trim that car out some, but I think today's mostly on the 67. So let me walk you through that process real quick. All right, so this is the 65 again. My plan here, it looks like this trunk extension connects down here somewhere. I don't want it. His are pretty solid. I'm not going to replace those. I'm going to tie into it right here. So I'm just going to lay my straight edge, get it lined up there, lined up here, and make a mark all the way down. It'll go all the way to there, to the very end, and then I'll cut that straight line on both cars. And per my measurements yesterday, from that point to this point is exactly the same. Then I'll have the same amount of lip that I need to combine back to both cars. So that covers that. Step 2, the inner fender, I'll need to use this on the other car. His car still has this hanging on. I'll show you. So he left about an inch here. I'll go in and find these spot welds and separate that piece. See, it goes all the way up. And I'll do it on the inside. You can see that seam right there. So I will take it apart at the seam on both sides. So the factory seam will be the same on this. I will splice in through here. I'm sorry, back here, after I draw my inch and cut that all the way back. And then I'll end up working back here some. That'll be a little bit different. His is pretty solid back here. The other car is pretty rotten, so I'm going to need to use his panel here. I may end up trimming this. I got to get all this old seam sealer off, whatever, really find out what I've got going here. I'll find out more after I cut that other one out, but I'll need to cut forward. You can kind of see that ridge that runs right here. I might end up actually cutting that part of his frame section off on both sides, get a good straight cut after I get the other one out. Here's how I'll cut this out. So on this inner fender, I'm just going to make a quick and dirty cut on this side and cut over into my line here. That way it'll leave me this extra metal, it'll leave me this inner fender, leave me that gap. His trunk hinges are hanging down. I'll cut that off and be able to reconnect both sides. For the front, walk around here like I said, there's that ridge I was just talking about. So I'll cut just far on this side of that ridge, run over, need all this inner fender that I can get. So this might be Sawzall action through here. This car's going to the scrapper, I think, when it's done anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'll get this seam sealer off, probably cut that so his will reconnect here, and I'll just go from there. So I'll get my other camera set up and you can watch me work today then. All right, one other thing before I do any of that business, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this rear end, get it out of the way. I'll move my jack stands up. That way, whenever all this comes out, the weight of the rear end's not pulling it out. So I don't want anything getting warped or anything like that. But front 2 bolts still look pretty good. Backwards. Number 2. Little brake line holding us up. Yes. Coming down. Alright, I found the safe spot back here to mark. I'm going to keep it in line with this flange or the back of that's where the gas tank mounts. And I'm going to bring that line straight over to my green line right here that I had marked from earlier. Best way to do that is with my laser level. This is just a 90-degree laser level. So I can actually put it up here, get that line in line with my flange. I can see it right there. And I'll go ahead and make my mark. Should be pretty close. At least I can keep these both square. It's fine there. Look at that. Made my line on the outside of the lip. And I'll go from the bottom and cut across here. So I'll just leave my light up. I should be able to see front of there. Not the worst cut I've ever done. All I'm doing is breaking it free. When I get it off the car, I can find my spot welds and separate it. Gonna be using all this for Mr. B. Truck hardware out of the way. I'm just going to cut straight across here, and then later, after I get the whole piece out, I can find my spot welds, drill them, and probably reuse this piece in the other car since it's already welded here. That would save me from having to drill these out, and his car. They are drilled out here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This side, somebody just cut straight off. So my plan is to drill them out on this, leave that drop down, and then weld to it instead of having to weld to this and bubble that paint all up any worse than it already is. The right tool for the job. Here we go. That was easy. All right, to the inside, I got this piece here. I'm going to separate it. There's one. Back up a little bit here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like spot welds. And then I'm just going to cut it straight down here. I'll start with just the hand punch. Get in the center. Pop it. Do all those. And then just take my spot weld cutter and drill it out.
Seeing it sag in the vacuum the other day.
I can see.
Save it. Watch out! There she is. It's falling. Timber.
All right, so I appreciate y'all watching part 2. I'll get part 3 quick as I can. I'll try to keep my videos 10 minutes or less. That way they're a little easier to watch. I'll try to speed up through the monotonous stuff, but thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.